And so we're holding people's hands from the start, which is, hey, you don't need to worry about the build component. We've got professionals in-house who deal with the type of building, the quality, the levels of finishes in the buildings. And my background is I'm a quantity surveyor, so I'm a building cost estimator, and I've got construction management background. And having been in the construction industry, I know what shonky stuff is, and I know what good quality work is. And so
Hey everybody, welcome again to Tuesday Chats. Today I'm joined by Rav Luckan. Now, for those of you who have been on Tuesday Chats before, you know that this is a conversation it's an organic chat, right? But we talk about business and life and all the things that have led us to where we are and what we're aiming towards in terms of where we're going. So Rav and I, how long have we known each other? Maybe a year or so-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. So Rav, I know, is in the property space. All those brands that are behind him are his own businesses. I still don't understand how it all meshes together. So Rav, like we've had lots of chats. Anyway, please introduce yourself to the people to let them know who you are and what you do.
Okay, great. So my name is Rav Luckan. Who I am is an entrepreneur, an investor, a father, a family man, and someone who's out to cause transformation in the world of what it means to be human. That would sum up who I am. What I'm up to is I'm in the property space. I've been in the construction and property industry now for 30 years, having my first job in 1998 as a cadet estimator. And I went through university, went through and got my credentials to become a builder, ran my construction company for 10 years. And then since 2016 have been a full-time developer, and that's property developer, not in all of the different spaces, but predominantly in land lot subdivisions. So where I take a couple parcels of land, larger ones, which I call the parent land, I subdivide them into children land, and then I package them up with houses that are sited on those properties and then sell them off to investors, mums and dads, and people that want to have their homes.
Nice. I love that.
Great. And
Yeah.
so you did touch base on what are all the entities behind me, and I'll just give you an overview. So RP Alliance is my management company, but it's the company that, if I called it the umbrella company, I think that would be giving it the best kind of name. We operate as a group holding governance platform, and we oversight the strategic management of all of the operations within each of the entities. And so the other one here, which is Rav Projects. Rav Projects, I incorporated in 2003. It was my first business that I started. Clearly, Rav Projects, that kind of gives it away. It's the founding development and project controls platform. So I use Rav Projects, which is myself and a little team. We look at the three pillars in all developments, which is time, cost, quality. And so that sets up the basis from where we operate against all of the enterprises. Direct developer deals was a brainchild of mine that came out about 4 years ago, where I went through the GFC. And during the GFC, my development profit and the profits that went to the investors was about $30,000 per key. But the real estate agents were making the same amount of profit, only having spent 1 month selling the items that we produced, yet we were in it for 3 years. And so I was like, hang on a second, if I can get the product direct to the public or direct to investors, then I can bridge the gap and pass those savings on to the end user, who's the ultimate buyer. And so that's where direct developer deals came up. So we sell direct to the public, we cut out the middleman, and there's no on charges, there's no on costs. It's just a platform that I've set up for selling of stock. RPIC Group, that's a parent company that kind of holds assets, and it's an investment arm. So if people want to be involved in developments, they can, through Real Property Investment Corporation, put 50 grand, 100 grand, and be part of a development as a joint venture partner with our mortgage advisory partners. We're a brokerage firm. And so we help all the way from first home buyers who have no clue about what it is to go and get a home loan, let alone be a sophisticated investor. But we help them from the process of setting up your bank accounts, show your savings and everything else, all the way through to we train people up to be sophisticated investors. And currently in the ecosystem, I've got 108 repeat people who have either bought 1, 2, or 3 investment properties and now using real estate to retire themselves. So that's pretty much my ecosystem that I've built. The ecosystem is there to service and bring value to our customers, clients alike. Yeah.
I love that. I do have a question though about Flora Vista Estate, because you didn't
Yes.
talk to that one. What is that one? How does that fit?
So Flora Vista, it's great. So when you look at the logo itself,
Yeah.
you'd notice that it looks like a
Big.
key.
Yeah.
And Flora Vista Estate is one of our developments coming up shortly in Bundamba. I went across and I looked at, I've done a lot of developments, but I don't have a uniform branding across all of my developments that I've done. And I take pride in what I do. So we came up with this here, which is the acronym FVE, Flora Vista Estate. We've got Kea Bella Estate, which is one of our other projects. I've got the Crown Estate, which will be another one that comes along. And so Flora Vista Estate is the current project I have in Bundamba, which is, I'll have the DA development approval shortly. It comprises of 41 land lots, so house and land packages, then 16 townhouses off the side of it. And so that development, we should be hitting completion on the land lots in December this year. And the townhouses, we should be able to hand them over in about February, March next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So you've got the entire, is there any part of the process that is not included in your
in the ecosystem?
Your thank you. I couldn't get
right.
the word.
So here's the thing, right? I actually saw that there's a gap in the understanding from start to completion.
Yes.
And there's different facets to buying an investment property. And so we're holding people's hands from the start, which is, hey, you don't need to worry about the build component. We've got professionals in-house who deal with the type of building, the quality, the levels of finishes in the buildings. And my background is I'm a quantity surveyor, so I'm a building cost estimator, and I've got construction management background. And having been in the construction industry, I know what shonky stuff is, and I know what good quality work is. And so I've distilled what used to be 13 builders that were on my panel down to 7 builders who are first, second, third generation builders now that have been through the GFC and have been through COVID and the rest of it. So we know that they're going to be here for a long time. Yeah. And their foresight is that they've got grandkids now working in their businesses. And so, the first thing is risk. People are always, oh, this builder went bust, that builder went bust. Well, we've shielded from that. And so we hold people's hands from that initial process. That's one facet. And then it's walking them through the development life cycle to hand over, having your house built. And then it's, okay, let's get your finances sorted so you can actually buy in or buy your next one. And so we hold their hands through that process, and things like lender's mortgage insurance or equity, how much equity, or debt servicing or hurdles. So those things we actually educate people as well as part of the process and walk them through holding their hand so that they can understand what it is to go and get a mortgage, or even credit, like meeting your credit requirements, credit scores, how they impact you. So if someone's got bad credit cards, we get rid of those first. We go through a process of cleaning up the back end accounts or bank statements for 6-month period, get that all nice so that when we do submit it to the credit team, it's clean, it's squeaky, they've got debt servicing, they've got the annual assessments and all of that together. So that's that we train people to become more sophisticated in how they look at their own finances. And as your first step to financial freedom is financial responsibility. So key to what we do is teach them about financial responsibility, how you're spending, what you're disclosing as spending. There's discretionary spends as well, but those are things we don't need to disclose. Yeah. And so those are the things we look at in there. And then so once you've got your finances sorted, you've then bought a house, then it's renting it and making sure that you get the right rental for it. So one of the entities that is not on here, which I incorporated 3 months ago, is called Real Estate Cartel, Pty Ltd. I know it's controversial, but we were like, you know what, we're going to take the space and we're really going to put offerings on the market that is going to allow us to become a player in this market space. So we also do then the property management side of it. Our property management fees are sub what everyone else is. And the reason we can do that is because for us, when we deliver an estate and the estate is congruent to being a particular way, and we ensure that the estate value is upheld, then it means we can demand a higher rent.
Yeah.
And so we upkeep that. So in a way, we can actually reduce the management fees for the rentals, and we pass the increased income to the end user. And so things like depreciation schedules and doing your cash flow analysis. So we help people with all of that all the way through. Yeah. And so really we're looking at educating people so that they can actually be educated all the way through and then become the driver of their own car into their financial freedom, using property as that tool.
So, like, I love that. I love property is one of my fun places, right?
Yeah.
I always used to joke that I wanted to collect real estate.
Yeah. I was going to say, bring your bucket and your spade and come play in my sandpit for a while.
Am I right in thinking, from what you said, that most of your people who are in your ecosystem are investors as opposed to homeowners or owner occupiers?
No, so I'm not. Yes. So in the ecosystems, the guys that repeat buy,
Mm,
I'd say the second or third people that have bought the second or third home, they're not sophisticated enough to understand their own finances. So they don't need too much of a hand holding. But I've also got first home buyers as well within
yeah.
the ecosystem who've bought. And once their properties reach a certain equity growth, letting the market do the heavy lifting, not them having to pay it down.
Yeah.
Once they've got enough equity, the next positioning will be get into the investment property.
Mm-hmm.
With some of them, where we've actually got them into a dual key at the moment as their first place of residence, the next one will be their forever home.
What do you mean by a dual key?
Yeah, so that's something that most people don't talk about, right?
Yeah.
Because they're a money spinner. So a dual key is basically like a 1-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom apartment bolted to the side of a 3-bedroom apartment under the one house roof. So it has a firewall and a partition. And you'll notice that they've got 2 separate garages. One has a side entry, usually the 2-bedroom or the single bedroom studio, and the other, which will have the main garage and an internal access or a front entry itself. So for all intents and purposes, when you drive down the street, it looks like a normal house, but it has 2 income sources.
Yeah. So it's a duplex that's set up front to back instead of
Dual
side
key.
by side.
Correct.
Yeah.
And normally on the ground, single floor under one roof.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those return great revenue. So for a mom and dad wants to buy a forever home, sometimes the strategy is better to buy the investment property and rent in it on one side yourself, rent out the other, have that sitting there such that when you do move out of there and buy your forever home, then you've got 2 sources of income straight away.
Yes.
So for me, it's not about the immediate gain or the immediate gratification. It's the long-term projection of the financial freedom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing, so RP Alliance is the first that you set up of those brands, is that right?
No, so Rav Projects was my first.
And how long ago did you start that one?
In 2003. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 23 years ago.
Yeah. But that's to have started from there and then built that ecosystem across that in 23 years. That's very cool.
Yeah, it takes a certain amount of consistency, and there's a certain amount of being deliberate in what I'm up to. And so a lot of it was dreamed about in an ideal world, a utopia, right?
Yeah.
And so I just gained traction on getting to where I needed to get to. And so I found that the growth at the start was quite hard. Grind, oh, got a growth. Grind, oh, got a growth. And then there's certain points when we've had that the gradient actually went up. And so during those times, we managed to grow substantially. And then during those harder times, we just do the grind and keep going. Yeah. And recently, I think there's been an expansion it was time to get the property management online. So that was more a timing thing. It wasn't about, could we have done it earlier? Yes. Was the timing right? No, we didn't have the volume to keep that enterprise to be able to give the benefits back to the client base. But now we have got the volume to actually cause that benefit to go back. Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. Because there's no point in bringing an entity into being unless it can be like viable, like almost ASAP, really. Like
absolutely. Absolutely. And look, it's not just me running the show. In Mortgage Advisory Partners, I have a business partner. His name is Lloyd. This business is 50% myself, 50% Lloyd. He's a super broker. Like, the guy is a gun, is a machine. Like, we got clients that just cannot talk highly enough about him. Now, I fully understand this space. I'm across it as well. And then it allows us to actually strategize and look at what is going to best optimize a client's position. So there's a lot of that we do together. And then you look at RE Cartel, which is our most recent one, which is the property management side.
Yeah.
My business partner in that business, she ran Ray White Balimba for 10 years when it was the most successful property management agency in Australia. Now, you can't get stripes like that from just nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've actually picked very particular people to come in and be business partners within the businesses who have that horizon foresight, not just a tomorrow kind of function.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. What is it that you love most about what you get to do?
Where do I start?
Wherever you
You
like,
know,
the list is long, obviously.
you're probably looking at me going, where does this guy generate his energy from? There's something about being passionate in the space. You know how kids wake up in the morning and they're like these little meerkats and they just pop their head up and they're like, boom, what am I going to eat today? Yeah. And I wake up like that every morning. I've got like that. Oh my God, I get to actually do what I'm really passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's bringing value to this property development space. And I'm up against it too. The real estate space lacks integrity. I've got to say it. It lacks integrity. The property development space lacks integrity. There's people just getting in there and taking advantage of the uneducated and less fortunate. And one of my missions is to really stand for that. All of my entities, we operate from a really high level of integrity and walk down the street, be happy, say hi to everyone. And I have that. And so I guess from the way I'm being in the world to what I'm causing for people and the ecosystem and clients, and I give away a lot of my time into other professional and personal development space. It is that give back and also creating something that's going to be a legacy one day for beyond me. And so I really am passionate in the space and I get to live my dream, which is creating this, just adding value, bringing value to the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've got a housing crisis. Look at what we've got here in Australia. We've got a housing crisis. We've got a rental crisis. It's phenomenal. I could not believe when rentals went over $1,000 a week for a house. I was like, how are people going to afford this? With the savings we're passing along the way, especially like in here, direct developer deals, there's about $35,000 worth of commission that goes back to the purchaser. And when you add that into their equity base, it gets them to the next investment property sooner.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I'm keeping prices down. I'm challenging the norm, which is to prices just to keep scooting up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just by disrupting the model.
Absolutely. And we're looking at different kinds of affordable housing, and we're looking at value management about if we're bulk buying, what does that cause, and having those relationships with suppliers and making sure that they're keeping the dollars down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So in amongst all this amazingness,
Yeah.
gotta be something that grates. What is it that you don't like so much about what you get to do?
Yeah. So one of the things that really gets at me, and I've got to keep representing to myself that it is a requirement of what I do, which is the detail. I can't step over the detail because it's the details that cause the dollars to go up. So I can't step over the little things. And sometimes I don't have time for the little things.
Yeah.
So I have checklists now and I have teams of people and I'm like, hey, you need to run this checklist down because the checklist has the details in there. Right.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times there's that. One of the things that that grinds me, but I just get ridiculously passionate about is like optimizing positions. So when I say optimizing positions, let's say you've bought one house and you're looking for your next investment property. Now, it might not necessarily be in your interest to go and, for us as a strategy, to go and work out your maximum debt borrowing capacity and then head you to the hills. For me, the optimization is what's a sweet spot for you to get into the next property. Then you got 3 growing and the market lifting. Yeah. So I'm and I can spend hours on that stuff. I just get fascinated with it. And I'm like drilling down. And so, yeah, it's one of my things where that causes me to get a lot of shoulder aches and I need some massages. But other than that, yeah, I guess that's one of the pet hates I have. I mentioned about the lack of integrity in our industry. professionalism, lack of service.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
gouging. People just gouge. It's just nuts. And bringing
Yeah.
that integrity back to the space is what I'm up for. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. You touched briefly before on the dream of what you're building. What does that actually look like when you look at where you want this to go? What is it that you see?
I want to impact mums and dads. My vision is that every Australian can afford their own home in an affordable way. Yeah. And so I want to impact the property development industry. Yeah. In that way, where we can cause such a change in how we're doing business that it causes others to look at, hey, how we need to streamline what we're doing to get to being back to being competitive.
Yeah.
There's at the moment you build it and it's gone before you can put a sales sign on it.
Mm.
It's actually sold before it even hits the market
Yeah.
because there's such a opportunism going on at the moment. And there's a separation of wealth between the haves and the have-nots. And so I'd like to think that I can cause enough of a disruption on pricing and value as a value proposition to bring that back down to what it used to be when people would tender and they'd be like competitive about what house and lands were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you get into that space? Is it because of the size so that you can get into that space in terms of, I'm hearing like being able to sell houses to people at a lower cost
Yes.
than the current, which is great but there's also, is it the fact that the buying power that you bring can then bring a quality home initial purchase price down?
Yeah.
Because there's that whole cost versus quality thing, right? That plays out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's something else that the market does. If you're buying, let's say, 1,000 tons of concrete,
Mm.
right, or cubic meters of concrete, so you get a price at a certain rate. If you're buying 10,000, you're buying it at a different rate. So volumetric trading.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to hit a mark where we get to a certain volumetric level of trading. So then we can actually put a squeeze and pass those savings on.
Yeah.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, your margin for your investors that are coming in and your capital partners is your margin for them. That stays the same. It's just what happens with the rest of it. So a lot of what I would call much larger developers, they have much larger profits because they take all of that savings that they get from the volumetric trading. What I'm trying to do is pass that on.
Yeah. So you get lower price point, but higher quality product from you in what they are able to buy, what you're able to build and that they buy from you.
Yeah. So if I did that, we might have a apples versus oranges type basis.
Okay. Yeah.
What I'm trying to do is, okay, here's the benchmark. This is what we're all producing. We're at a much lower price.
Yeah.
So the quality is the same.
Yeah.
There's a quality, there's a standard. That's the quality. We won't go below that.
Yeah.
Just for your basic house and land, your normal generic house with its normal finishes, nothing gold plated. The gold plated is not what I'm intending to hit on, or the pink bathtubs. Just your normal.
Why not?
I know, right? We'll do one for you. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
House of the pink bathtub. I'm not going back there. Right?
All right. So yeah, your normal home delivered at a saving.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a cost benefit to the end user. That's what I'm trying to disrupt. That's where I'm really poking in at. And I am causing those waves right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
that.
I'll know that I'm really making waves when the phone calls start coming in saying, Rav, mate, we know where you live. Right. I'll be like, okay. I got to push deeper now.
I want to bump security and dig in deep.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be like, there'll be some big developer conference and Rav will be over there and no one else wants to talk to him because they're all just cranky at Rav.
Yeah, look, I'm even like this. I'm even to the extent of saying, if we got together and had a greater buying power, let's join together. and have a greater buying power and pass that saving on, because you would never had the saving in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, really stepping into that space and using my skill sets. I have a skill set that's phenomenal when it comes to value management or value engineering inside of quantity surveying, which I use that skill set inside of every single build.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'll say something that we do differently as well. So your standard bedroom, like a smaller of, let's say not your master, but your smaller bedroom. So if you sized your bedroom to 3.2 meters by 3.2 meters, you're cutting 100 mils off a plasterboard sheet.
Oh,
Right. And it's getting thrown away.
why don't you just go 3.3 by 3.2? And okay. Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
So now that's
Just, okay.
the
Then
level
you've
at
got the
which,
saving, like it's going to cost you more because the building's a bit bigger, but you save the time in the actual
correct.
putting it up there, one striking
Correct.
thing by the plasterer. Whatever.
Absolutely. So
Obviously,
instead of,
I'm right in this space.
absolutely. So instead of doing a home where one bedroom is 3.6 meters by 3.6, sorry, let's say 4.5 meters by 3.45 meters, because that's what the architect liked to draw.
Yeah.
We revamp it to say, okay, one bedroom can be 3.6 and the other bedroom can be 3.3,
Okay.
because the plasterboard sheets come in 300 increments.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then looking at sizes of windows, use standard size 600, so 600, 900, 1.2s, 1.5s, because then they're not custom made. So we look at all of those little things that then end up to a massive saving in the actual buildability cost.
Yeah.
So put all of that technology into exactly what we're delivering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I've gotten wastage down from 7% across a building down to 3.5%. I've halved it.
Nice.
Right now, you consider 3.5% wastage on a $360,000 home. There's the better half of 12.5 grand.
That's a good chunk of cash.
That's just thrown away in the rubbish bin. Yeah. So yeah, really bringing all those technologies to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got all my builders on board. The 7 remaining builders that are actually in the ecosystem.
Yep.
They've taken what you'd call their normal project home. They've worked with me and we've rationalized every single one down, tightened it up. So you're still getting the area, just efficiently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so much in this, isn't there? Obviously, it's 23 years worth of business in it, and then some. So just finally, before we wrap it up for the day, what's the biggest takeaway that you want people to take from this conversation, or to help them take something from you and your experiences to help them move forwards better in their life?
Yeah. So something that has been there for me has always been about growth and expansion of who I get to be, not just for myself, but for my family, my loved ones, my community, in the give back that I get to now be for people. And I'm very clear on why I do what I do every day. Like I'm really grounded in that. And I get to be the source and the generator of the power within my family. And so the takeaway for me that I would give away to people is step up, own your leadership. Whatever that looks like. It means learning a little bit about finance today, or learning about this, or steering your family in a particular direction. Whatever that expansion, that growth, whatever that looks like for you, be that.
Yeah.
Own it. Be that leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if that's financial freedom, come and see us through property. If it's financial freedom through a different arm, I'm sure Terri has people that you can lead you to.
Plenty of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's what happens when you're connected like I am.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's amazing, Rav. Thank you. I appreciate that we've been able to actually make this work.
I know.
The things
You've
that have been-
danced with me and my hectic schedule.
It's taken some time, but we're here.
Gets me here. Yeah.
And I'm glad, because I've always enjoyed the conversation that I have with you. And I love now that I understand more of what you're doing, what you're creating, where you're going, and also know now who I can send your way to get your help, because it's a key thing, isn't it? Like how many, nearly every person that I know at some point wants to be able to own their own home. And yet for so many, they feel like it's completely out of reach for whatever reason. So I was talking to a lady who's coming on board as a client just last week, and she's, oh no, I'm now priced out of the market. I can't do that. I'm like,
Wow.
so I'll be sending her your way to have a chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love it.
Excellent.
Awesome. Thank you, Rav. So
Thank you so
appreciate
much, Terry.
So appreciate your sharing and being on here. We will make sure that links, etc., are added to this on the podcast platform so that people can find you. But I want to say thank you again. And for now, it's bye from me.
Okay.